Okay, next item on the agenda is the draft of the open space plan, and we have Sue Meyerhoff here from the Heritage Conservancy, who has been our consultant on this revision, and we need to drop the lights. I think you have a presentation, is that correct? You do. Very good.
If I can get this to work correctly, we'll see.
And this is an opportunity for the public to make comment. It will come back to us. What has to happen after this presentation is that the Bucks County Planning Commission Committee on Open Space, I believe that's the name of it, has to review our draft plan and comment back to us, and then before it's finally adopted, there's another opportunity for public comment as well. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, great. Good evening. I'm Susan Meyerhoff. I'm Senior Planner at Heritage Conservancy, and we have been assisting the borough, specifically working with the Environmental Advisory Council on updating the borough's open space plan. So what I'd like to do tonight is just give you a brief overview of the county's process and also our major recommendations and what our next steps are. So hopefully this will work. There we go. Under the Bucks County's open space program, there was $26 million that had been allocated to this program to provide financial assistance to all of the 54 municipalities in the county for open space planning, acquisition, and improvements. Newtown Borough's allocation is a little over $234,000, and to become eligible to receive this funding, the municipalities were required to re-examine and, where necessary, update existing open space plans according to the program guidelines. That's the picture you see up there. We worked closely with the Environmental Advisory Council to help update the plan in accordance with these guidelines. And tonight I'm going to provide, again, an overview of the process, highlight the recommendations, and review next steps. So why should we prepare an open space plan? Beyond the obvious that we need to do this in order to gain the allocation funds, open space plans really provide an opportunity to outline the borough's vision and strategy for resource conservation, and also provides a nice framework for decision makers to respond to open space opportunities. Although each municipality, of course, in the county is very unique, some, of course, are more rural with lots of undeveloped parcels, and some are located in areas with many natural resources. Some have a very high percentage of agricultural resources. However, others, like Newtown Borough, have higher density and are very developed. So there's very little open space left. So each community has very specific goals and objectives related to its particular characteristics and local conservation priorities. So our purpose, again, is to provide this sort of framework to respond to open space opportunities. One of the things we do with an open space plan is to rely on existing planning efforts. Again, you're seeing the Newtown Borough had an open space plan that's in effect right now. It was adopted in February of 2001. That kind of served as our basis for documentation. We only looked at information that had to be updated from that document. Also, we're very fortunate in that the borough just adopted very recently its comprehensive plan, and that was a great document for us to use and review. We want to make sure that the recommendations in the open space plan are consistent with this planning document, so we were able to rely a lot on that comprehensive plan. We also looked at a very recent planning recommendation study that was authored by the Newtown Creek Coalition regarding the Newtown Creek, which of course is the major natural resource here in the borough. So we do look at a lot of different plans and build upon those to work on an open space plan. This is the goal that was established for the open space plan in 2001. It was reviewed, and we determined that this is still a valid goal for the borough. And you can read it, but essentially it's to preserve and enhance the value of the open space resources by protecting its natural, historic, and scenic resources. So it's a great overall goal. When you have a goal, of course, there are a series of objectives to help you implement those goals. And in this plan, we have 6 of them. And again, they address different types of resources from the borough's natural resources, which pretty much center around the creek, and also objectives about acquiring additional open space necessary. We also looked at establishing open space networks that connect parks and activity centers. Other objectives including preserving the integrity of historic resources here in Newtown. This is a very unique borough with amazing historic resources, so that was another aspect of this plan. We also looked at items such as scenic views, and looking at the entrances to the borough. So here's our map that we developed. We developed a series of new maps for this for the plan. And what we first do in an open space plan is figure out what's already protected. So you're seeing an aerial view actually here of the borough. There's parks, current parks here that total about 5 acres. That includes Pickering Field, the Brian S. Gregg Memorial Park, Linton Park, and also, of course, Newtown Common. In addition, we look at not only publicly owned and protected land, but privately owned and protected land. And those include open space related to homeowners associations, and we have a lot of those. They're kind of shown here in the orange areas here. I know it's kind of hard to see. We also looked at utility easements, primarily the one that most folks are familiar with, which is the old SEPTA rail corridor, which provides, again, some open space opportunities. So those are the things that we looked at as being existing open space and protected. It totals about 16 acres, or about 4% of the land area of the borough. Another aspect that we look at is how is the borough developed? And this is actually a nice chart from the comprehensive plan showing the distribution of land uses. And as you can see, the primary land use here in the borough is residential, and between single family and multifamily, it's well over 70%. But you also have a nice core of commercial and other uses. And if you look, you'll see where it says developable. That's kind of the area that we look at for an open space plan. What is actually developable and sort of provides an opportunity for additional protection. So here are a couple of things that we look at. As I mentioned before, we look at vulnerable resources, and that includes natural as well as historic and cultural. On the left is the map showing the major natural resource here, which is Newtown Creek, and on the right is a map that's showing the historic district boundaries, and I know it's a little difficult to see, but there's also scenic views that are shown here with little arrows. So we look at all those types of resources. And as I mentioned, the creek is the major resource here. It's about a 9.2-mile long corridor. It starts up in Newtown Township and extends down to Middletown Township, where it meets up with the with the Neshaminy Creek. The Newtown Creek Coalition, as I mentioned before, had been working on this segment of the creek and identified different segments for different types of recommendations. And we are working right now actually on a watershed plan that will look at the whole Newtown Creek, including the areas in the township as well. But as you know, the creek does form a nice boundary between the borough and the township, and presents some nice corridor opportunities as well for preservation. So this is our sort of major map that shows what are the potential open space areas for the borough. So I'm going to take you through this, bring things up so you can actually read the legend here. But what we did was we looked at these potential areas and sort of ranked them in priority as far as what the borough thought was important in terms of acquisition or protection. In the green, and I'm going to try to show you by that arrow there, there are 4 properties located in the southwest portion of the borough. They include the old Stockburger Chevrolet, the Delta School, Buttonwood, and Adamusco properties. And these are along the creek and provide a really good opportunity for perhaps some greenway opportunities, trails, and linkages to the adjacent parks in Newtown Township. We have Carl Cedia Park and Chandler Fields. So this was rated as a Tier 1 potential open space. Tier 2 is 2 properties, actually. We have the area known as the Newtown Artesian Water Company, and bring up the corridor, the rail corridor, the SEPTA